Boruto comes back to life in Boruto manga chapter 67. That's right, he has come back. He died at the end of the last chapter. Kawaki stabbed him straight through the chest, took out a whole bunch of his internal organs and everything, and he was actually dead. But thanks to Momoshiki, he has returned in this chapter. And we knew he was going to because obviously he is in the very first episode. After the time skip, he's got the Karma and the Jogan. We still don't know how he's going to get there, but yes, he is alive. And this chapter may give us some ideas as to how he obtains the true eye. But first we get a cover page here of Ada looking great. I love this cover. She's definitely a fan favorite character. We haven't seen her fight yet. She's just been communicating from behind the lines, talking to Code, and she even almost turns on Code in this chapter because she's in love with Kawaki. She wants him, I guess she just wants to romanticize with him. And Code may want to use Kawaki as a sacrifice for the Ten Tails, particularly because Boruto was dead. But now that Boruto is back alive, Code obviously will be going after Boruto to use him as the sacrifice to create the Divine Tree. And because of what Momoshiki did to resurrect Boruto, he's now essentially 100% Otsutsuki. So he is actually prime meat for the sacrifice for the Divine Tree. And we know that they have the Ten Tails locked up in the Kara Fortress. So I think the next time, probably after Code gets his limiters removed, he's gonna go after Boruto and try and capture him. So up until this point, Boruto was about 82% Otsutsuki. The karma data inside of him has been decompressing up to 82%. Probably the pills that Amato gave him have slowed it down quite a bit, but now because of what Momoshiki did, he's essentially 100% Otsutsuki. And we also learn in this chapter Code's method for getting into Konoha to capture Amato. So because Amato is so well guarded by the Leaf Village, he really didn't have any way to infiltrate, get in there, get Amato to release his limiters, which will make him probably the most powerful ninja out there. But it appears that he put claw marks on Shikamaru. And so at some point when Shikamaru meets up with Amato, Code may pop out of Shikamaru and snatch Amato and take him to the Kara headquarters, forcing him to remove his limiter. And so the entire time that Code was holding on to Shikamaru as a hostage, at some point there he put the claw mark on Shikamaru. I don't know how Shikamaru hasn't noticed that. Maybe you can't feel them, or maybe it's underneath his clothes or something. I'm not really sure. We also learn that Kawaki, who is insanely OP, like this new karma that he has, makes him ridiculously overpowered. I mean, he has gone from scrub to way beyond like Hokage level, or maybe Hokage level. I mean, he is able to even shrink using Ishiki's eye powers. He's able to shrink Code's claw marks so that he can't escape. And Code gets really desperate here in this chapter. I mean, Kawaki is just smacking him around, and it feels really good. This is the first time that we've actually seen Code get desperate in the entirety of his character thus far. Kawaki's able to use both of Ishiki's eye powers, pretty much as well as all the other karma power he had before, like creating these huge explosions and everything like that. But we saw Code retaliate by pulling Damon out of the claw mark on his head. So you know that Code has that claw mark on his head. That is like, I guess, his secret. He's able to reach through his own head out to any claw mark around the world that he chooses, and he pulls out Damon, who has this reflective ability. He's like the most godly overpowered cyborg or android out there, because basically if you ever try and kill him with any kind of jutsu or even just a regular attack with like a sword or something, you end up killing yourself. Like, as Code explains in this chapter, Damon's ability is reflective, and it's almost like any attack you use on him hits you instead of him. And so Kawaki charges up this massive blast, shoots it at Code, and that's when we see Code take off his hood here, reach into his head, and pull out Damon, whose ability backfires the Karma nuke back at Kawaki. It actually takes him out. Kawaki has lost his Karma mode, and he's just laying on the ground here, completely passed out at this point. And then Code's just like, thanks, Damon, I'm going to return you now, and just puts him back in his head, back to the underground facility where Ada is chilling out right now. And I wonder how irritated Ada's going to be, because Code had a claw mark on Ada, and he used the claw mark on Ada to pull Damon through her. So maybe the claw marks are invisible. Like, did she not know there was a claw mark on her? Maybe that's why Shikamaru doesn't know that there's a claw mark on him. And it seems like the cyborgs, like, they almost had a little tuffle at this point. Like, Code is just doing what he wants. And apparently Ada is stronger than Code, at least right now, maybe without his limiter being removed. Once he gets his limiter removed, he may be the strongest cyborg that there is right now. But I think Ada and Damon might actually be stronger than him at this current point. I mean, Damon is just ridiculous. Like, I don't know how you're supposed to destroy or defeat that guy, but Shikamaru did see him and did see his ability go off in this battle, and Shikamaru, being the genius that he is, may be able to develop some sort of plan for their next encounter. I mean, Shikamaru would be the one to figure out some way to defeat an enemy that reflects any attack back at you. Now, there's this like really intense moment between Shikamaru and Naruto, as Naruto thinks that Boruto is dead, and Shikamaru is like, we have to reprimand Kawaki. Like, he can't just be like going around killing people. Like, he killed your son. But it seems that Naruto just straight up, quickly and easily wants to forgive Kawaki. I mean, he sees Kawaki as another son of his own. You know, Boruto sees Kawaki as a brother, and the reason that Naruto wasn't like furious at Kawaki is because Naruto knew that when the time came, like, he may have had to kill his own son. Like, there have been these discussions before, especially when they had the new summit of the 5 cages, when they're like, Naruto, are you going to be able to, you know, kill your own son when he gets to like 99% Otsutsuki? Like, we can't risk Momoshiki coming out and resurrecting. He's way too powerful. And Naruto said, like, I'm going to be able to do it, although nobody else believes that he will be able to. But it's like Kawaki just did this for Naruto, and I think Naruto knows that, and that's why he's not like, you know, pissed off at Kawaki for killing his son. He knew that this was coming. They had no solution to prevent the Otsutsification. They had the medicine, but it has side effects, so there's really no other options, and Kawaki knew that, and that's why he killed Boruto, and Boruto just straight up sacrificed himself at that point. They couldn't let the Ten Tails get resurrected. Okay, so let's talk about the biggest thing about this chapter, and that's Boruto's resurrection via Momoshiki. So if you're confused at this part, you're in the same boat as a lot of people, because it's incredibly confusing, it's quite an ass pull, but I'm going to try and explain it to you as best as possible. Firstly, Momoshiki can't risk Boruto dying because he's his only vessel. Momoshiki's soul is like basically in Boruto. If Momoshiki had karmas on other people, he would have just let Boruto die. But because Boruto is the sole vessel of Momoshiki, his soul is like tied to him. And if Boruto were to die, Momoshiki would also die. His soul would be extinguished just like Ishiki's was in the previous arc. So to prevent his own soul from being extinguished, he kept Boruto alive by rewriting that last 18% of data into Boruto's data, which doesn't make any sense. If anything, the Otsutsuki data is way stronger than human data. Otsutsuki are capable of way different things. I mean, they're aliens, like, they have godlike powers and everything, but as Momoshiki explains, by rewriting that last 18% of data that wasn't decompressed yet into Boruto data, it was able to regenerate his lungs and his heart. And in doing so, he can no longer resurrect through Boruto. Because he did this in order to save Boruto's life so that his soul wouldn't be extinguished, Boruto, I guess, gets to keep all of the karma power with no risk of Momoshiki ever coming out again, but we don't know that for sure. Momoshiki doesn't really seem too worried about this. I'm sure he has some plans and some methods. I mean, he's probably lying to Boruto. There's no reason to tell Boruto the truth. The only thing he's worried about, which he tells Boruto, is that now he's essentially 100% Otsutsuki, which again doesn't make any sense. If you just rewrote 18% as Boruto data, you'd be still 82% Otsutsuki. Like, this, the logic behind this doesn't make any sense. I'm wondering if this is like a mistranslation or something like that. But long story short, this is like an amazing thing for Boruto because he doesn't have to worry about Momoshiki ever resurrecting through him again. And he, as he even says in Momoshiki, like, I win. I don't have to take the pills anymore. The only thing he has to worry about now is Code, and Code sacrificing him to the Ten Tails. But whatever this does to Boruto moving forward, undoubtedly, in my opinion, it's going to give him a massive power boost. I think he's going to be able to use full abilities of the Karma and Momoshiki's powers the same way that Kawaki right now is using Ishiki's Karma and powers with no side effects. Boruto is going to get the same thing, but with Momoshiki, and I feel like this probably has something to do with the True Eye. Boruto will be able to unlock the full potential of the Otsutsuki data within him, which will give him the True Eye. And as we've seen Boruto progressing through this arc, he's been able to get more control of his karma. He got like a new karma transformation, and undoubtedly with this, he'll be able to transform even more. Like, he's got to at some point get to the stage from the beginning of the Boruto anime. The other thing that Momoshiki says is that when I told you those blue eyes will take everything from you, that's not this. That's coming very soon, and this has nothing on that. So what Momoshiki is saying is that the time skip is coming very, very soon. Somehow he can see the future. The same, I mean, Ada can also see the future. So I don't know if that has any ties to it, but it appears that Code is going to use the claw mark, capture Amato, release his limiter, and then he's going to do something to Naruto and Sasuke. Or at least Naruto, he's either going to seal him in another dimension or just straight up kill him. And then Kawaki's got to become a bad guy at some point, you'd think, from the first episode, and then we're gonna get a time skip. So there's still so much to explain before the time skip. There's still way too many holes to be filled and questions to be answered. So we'll have to see what happens on the next chapter. I think the next chapter will probably be a talking chapter. I don't think it's going to continue with the action. I think this fight is done. I think they're going to go back to Konoha. They're going to probably scold Kawaki a bit. Boruto's going to be happy and tell everyone that there's no more worry of him, you know, Momoshiki taking over, although we don't know that's 100% true. I still feel like Momoshiki has a plan. And then maybe at the end of the chapter, Code comes in and snatches Amato. That's a possibility. Naruto's also going to have to tell the other cages what exactly is going on here, because they're all worried as well. I'm wondering if they'll come in and help out against the cyborgs. Probably need it, because Ada and Damon are super strong, and once Code gets his limiter removed, he's going to be like probably even stronger than Ishiki, which, you know, I don't really like the writing in that. I don't think that makes any sense. I liked Ishiki. I loved his character. I loved how strong he was and his whole mentality, and just to have some cyborg created by Amato be like even stronger than him, I think it's kind of stupid, to be honest. But we'll see what happens when we get to that point. All right, guys, I'm Master. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you guys can clarify any of these things in this video that maybe I didn't have the full answer on, please leave it in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you soon for the next video.